The elevator doors opened and Derek Sloan stepped out, late as usual, chewing a cinnamon candy like existence was a chore. He did not say hello. He did not ask why I was locked out. He just flicked 2 fingers at me. "Review now," he said. "Let us make it quick." He marched toward the glass conference room, the one where private conversations felt like public executions. I followed, because habit is a strong leash, and I had not yet learned to bite it in half. He sank into the leather chair and pointed at my binder stack like it was clutter. 3 late nights lived inside those folders. I slid the contract summary across the table. Quasar Foundry signed a 5-year renewal, full package, 11 million. I negotiated an increase without triggering their board limits. We are well above projections. Derek glanced at the first page, then pushed it back as if it carried germs. Expected. I kept my smile in place with pure muscle. There is also the performance bonus. It was documented last year for the largest renewal. He finally looked at me, eyes polished with practiced emptiness. The results belong to the firm, not you. No debate, no delay. Just a clean slice through 15 years of building relationships, answering panicked calls, and making other people's chaos look like my calm. My ears rang, but rage did not arrive yet. Rage needs air. What arrived was vacuum, a tidy clarity that made everything simple. "Understood," I said. I stood, gathered my folders without shaking, and walked out. Derek did not follow. He assumed silence was surrender. At my desk, my email was already open. A message waited from Human Resources. "Access update." It thanked me for my service, reminded me of security compliance, and noted my badge would be reactivated after my exit interview. Exit interview. I had not resigned. I laughed once, sharp and small. They had posted my victory in the lobby and quietly started building my coffin. I drafted my resignation with one sentence, effective immediately, no fireworks, no gratitude, just a period like a closed door. Later, Derek Assistant replied with an attachment labeled non-compete reminder, as if it were a seasonal coupon. "We trust you will honor your obligations. Corporate language for we own you." I opened the PDF and scrolled until my eyes blurred. 24 months. No servicing clients. No competing. No hiring. Arbitration for violations. Derek probably framed the clause and kissed it goodnight. I closed it and opened a new file. Title: Quiet Exit, Loud Consequences. First line: Do not swing first. Make them swing. Document every punch. Outside my window, the city moved like nothing had happened. Inside me, something clicked into place, neat as a lock. They wanted me caged. Fine. I would build a keyhole and let them crawl through it themselves. Day 3 of unemployment makes silence sound like judgment. No calendar alerts, no frantic messages, just me, a kitchen table, and a mug of coffee that tasted like regret with a roasted finish. My cat, Miso, watched with the smug patience of a creature who has never signed a non-compete. I opened the clause again. 24 months was a long time to sit politely while Derek cashed my work like a bonus check. So I did the practical things first. I registered an LLC and gave it a name with teeth: Vesper Arc Advisory. I built a website from a template that screamed generic confidence. It loaded, it had a contact form, that counted. Then I opened my budget sheet. Severance, insulting. Savings, solid for now. Bills, fearless and punctual. I color-coded the numbers and watched the red cells spread like gossip. Late that night, I made the mistake of checking the company feed. Derek's face floated at the top, smiling under a post titled Leadership Spotlight: The Power of Ownership. Under it, managers applauded with emoji hands like trained seals. I shut the tab so hard the laptop flinched. A moment later, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "They moved your Quasar recovery budget into the executive retreat fund." You were right. They are not evil, just careless. No signature, but I knew the voice. Tessa Wynne, finance analyst, queen of clean ledgers and quiet contempt. She had been the only person in that building who could make a spreadsheet feel like a warning. The recovery budget was not a luxury. It was the safety net I fought for. Escalation hours, backup testing, contingency staffing. Quasar Foundry did not tolerate surprises. Derek had just traded stability for matching polo shirts and a room full of buzzwords. I laughed, and the sound startled Miso off the counter. Careless companies do not merely stumble. They fall downstairs while explaining how falling is an agile mindset. If Derek was this sloppy, he would not just mishandle Quasar. He would turn it into a bonfire and blame the weather. All I had to do was stay invisible and stay ready. The next morning I called a lawyer. Renee Calder met me in an office that looked designed to destroy ego. She read Clause 17b without blinking. Overreaching, she said. Enforceable, but sloppy. My stomach tightened. So I am trapped. You are restricted, she corrected, tapping a paragraph. You cannot solicit their clients. You cannot compete with identical services. It does not say you cannot accept work you are approached for if the work is outside what your old firm sells. Hope landed in my chest like a weight. Renee continued. Your plan? Build a niche that looks harmless, keep your marketing narrow, and never chase. Let them come to you. Document everything. That afternoon, I rewrote my website copy until it sounded like a legal shield disguised as a lighthouse. Targeted recovery, diagnostic sprints, stakeholder alignment, no managed services, no full cycle delivery. Every sentence was a fence post. That evening, my phone lit up with a voicemail from Maria Chen, operations lead at Quasar Foundry. Lena, she said, voice careful. Call me when you can. No agenda. I just want to hear your voice. No agenda was a lie people told when the building was already smoking. I waited long enough to look casual, then called back. The first crack had appeared, and I was ready to widen it with a smile. Maria never wasted syllables, which is how I knew trouble was already in the room. When she answered, her voice was professional, but the professionalism had hairline cracks. I hope I am not interrupting. You are interrupting my glamorous life of comparing health insurance plans, I said. A small laugh, then a sigh. Your replacement team is not built for this work. I let her talk. Details arrived fast. They sent a deck with our roadmap reversed, she said. When I pointed it out, they told me it was aspirational. Then someone called me Marissa for an entire call. My name is on the screen. Ambitious, I said. She breathed out. Deliverables are late. Tasks are duplicated. Their emails read like they were written by a committee trapped in an elevator. Then she went quiet, and the quiet carried the real reason. We trusted you, Maria said. You made the work feel steady. I am building something small, I replied. Very narrow. How narrow? Recovery work, diagnostic sprints, alignment, architecture cleanup, not managed services, not a replacement vendor. Another pause, sharper. They broke it, Maria said. My spine went straight. Broke what? The data stream integration for our Starlight initiative, she replied. They overwrote our test environment with a sandbox from another client, then tried to roll back without a checkpoint. The pipeline is corrupted and they did not notice for days. Maria kept going, voice clipped. They sent an apology memo and a timeline that pushes us into late autumn. Legal is reviewing the agreement. We will terminate if we find cause, and we will. If you can provide guidance, she said, we want to open a discussion. I measured my breath like a bomb technician. Maria, Vesper Arc is extremely narrow, I said. We do not run operations. We do not replace full-cycle vendors. I am not asking for replacement, she snapped. We will handle ongoing work. We need the rebuild plan, stakeholder alignment, and a clean path forward. I let silence do its job. Then I said, I will draft a proposal, strictly inside my scope. Send it tonight, she said. Procurement will pre-authorize. After we hung up, I wrote the proposal like a surgeon. 1 sprint, 6 deliverables, no fluff. I named it Starlight Drift Recovery Phase 1 and emailed it to Maria. The timestamp would matter later. Not long after, my phone rang again. Kim Alvarez, former project lead at Kestrel Ridge Solutions, whispered like the walls had ears. Quasar served notice, she said. 30 days to terminate the master agreement. Derek called an all hands and said your name like it was a curse. What did he say? He said you sabotaged the transition to poach the client, Kim replied. Legal is drafting threats. He swears he will ruin you. I looked at my sent folder, at the clean chain of emails, at the narrow scope Renee told me to build. Then I smiled, slow and sharp. Let him try. A new email notification appeared on my screen. From Derek Sloan. Subject: Immediate notice regarding client interference. I did not flinch. I forwarded it to Renee Calder and labeled the thread Evidence, because pettiness is useless, but documentation is eternal. Derek wanted a fight. Fine. I had receipts, and I had patience. Derek's email was exactly what I expected. Desperation wearing a blazer. He accused me of unauthorized interference, unethical conduct, and my personal favorite, irreparable harm to the brand. He bolded that phrase twice, like formatting could replace evidence. He copied the general counsel, which was the corporate version of shouting into a megaphone. I forwarded it to Renee Calder and kept drinking my coffee. Her reply arrived an hour later. Drafted, 87 words. Do not add a single adjective. Her response cited the non-solicitation language Derek was pretending not to see. It listed my resignation date, the date Quasar filed its first complaint, and the date Maria contacted me. It stated that Vesper Arc provided strategic recovery only, not managed services. It closed with an invitation to pursue arbitration and reimburse my fees under Clause 22D. Renee sent it. Derek went quiet. Early afternoon, Maria emailed a procurement packet titled Emergency Recovery Engagement. Under it, one line. Board approved. Keep us alive. I replied with scope boundaries and 6 deliverables. Maria signed. Procurement signed. Quasar Council confirmed they initiated contact and that my work did not conflict with their existing vendor agreement. They might as well have stamped it with a judge seal. As I dug into the Starlight wreckage, I saw the same pattern everywhere. Undocumented changes, missing checkpoints, status reports that claimed progress while the system decayed. Kestrel Ridge had not just failed, they had performed failure with confidence. Then a text arrived from Tessa Wynne. He is deleting approval trails. He thinks that if the numbers vanish, the questions vanish. She followed it with a screenshot of an internal budget transfer. Quasar recovery funds reclassified as executive alignment offsite, Derek approval attached. I called her. I should not be on this call, she said. You already are, I replied. What else? A tight pause. He has been padding utilization reports, making projects look healthier. The board trusts his dashboards. They should not. Revenge stopped being a feeling and became a plan. Do you have proof? Enough to start an audit, she said. Not enough to survive alone. Then do not be alone, I told her. Send it to Renee. Let counsel handle the blast radius. Tessa breathed out, like she had been holding her lungs hostage for a year. He will come for you. He already did, I said. Now he will miss. Late evening, Renee called. Derek filed for an emergency injunction. He wants a judge to silence you. Can he? Not with your records, she said. And if his reporting is dirty, he will regret inviting daylight. A moment later, Maria sent another message. Quasar board wants a joint status briefing. They invited Kestrel Ridge leadership. Derek will attend. I spent the next stretch assembling a briefing packet that doubled as armor. Every email header, every attachment list, every scope line that proved who called whom first. I labeled files with clinical precision because Derek loved drama and judges loved facts. I also added one slide for myself, not for the board, a timeline of his budget shuffles, his status inflation, and his retreat spending. It was petty, yes, but it was also math, and math rarely loses. I stared at the screen until the words felt sharp. It was not just a meeting, it was a stage. And this time, I was bringing evidence. The Quasar Foundry briefing room smelled like fresh toner and expensive consequences. Maria Chen sat with two executives and Quasar counsel. Across from them sat Derek Sloan with Kestrel Ridge counsel and a junior director who looked like he regretted every life choice that involved email. Renee Calder sat beside me, folder closed, expression open for business. Derek began without invitation. This is a serious matter. Our former employee has interfered with our client relationship. I smiled. Hello, Derek. I see you brought witnesses for your imagination. Maria raised a hand. Status first, contract second. Derek clicked to his deck. It was all green check marks and cheerful timelines, a fantasy novel in corporate font. He spoke like a man describing sunshine while standing in a storm. When he finished, Maria nodded at me. Lena. Findings. I connected my deck and kept it simple. Logs, tickets, and a timeline. No slogans, no blame theater, just evidence. I showed the overwrite that killed the test environment. The missing checkpoints. The gap where recovery funds should have been. Then I put the budget transfer on the screen. Quasar recovery reclassified as executive alignment offsite, approved by Derek. Derek stiffened. Those are internal documents. Correct, Renee said, which is why they are reliable. Quasar Council spoke evenly. For the record, Quasar initiated contact with Ms. Park for a narrowly scoped recovery engagement. We have written confirmation. We also have documented breaches by Kestrel Ridge after Ms. Park departure. Derek leaned forward, voice rising. She planned this. She sabotaged the transition. She is exploiting proprietary knowledge. Maria looked at him with mild disgust. You mean the transition packet that lacked the relationship context you never bothered to learn? That is not sabotage, Derek. That is your management style meeting reality. Quasar Council slid a termination letter onto the table. Kestrel Ridge is in breach. We are terminating the master agreement effective in 30 days. We will pay for work delivered. We will not pay for promises. Derek turned toward his counsel, searching for rescue. His counsel glanced at a phone notification, face draining. Renee checked her own phone and spoke softly, like she was reading a bedtime story. Mr. Sloan, your board just requested an internal audit. A whistleblower report flagged irregular forecasting and budget reclassifications. Derek froze. The room did not. Maria turned to me. Vesper Arc engagement begins immediately. Council will finalize. A signature packet arrived from Quasar Procurement. I reviewed the scope and signed. The contract number was large, but the meaning was larger. Proof that the value had always been mine. Derek stood abruptly. This is not over. Renee looked up. It is. If you pursue this, we will pursue fees. If your audit finds what it will find, you will be too busy explaining your dashboards to keep talking. In the hallway, security appeared, not dramatic, just present. Derek noticed and swallowed his pride like it had edges. As we left, Maria said, I am sorry they treated you like property. They did not own me, I replied. They just forgot I could bite. Outside, the air felt cleaner. My phone buzzed with a final text from Tessa. Audit opened. Thank you for making him blink. I smiled, and it was real. Revenge, it turns out, is best served in a PDF with attachments.